Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Megan and I'm the head of circulation here at the Leach Library. And today I thought I'd share with you some books that are more geared towards younger teens and young adults. So what that means, it's middle grade or for tweens, anybody who's ready to maybe start reading books, or if you're just starting or haven't yet started reading in the young adult section. So these are a little bit more in the middle school age range. The characters are in middle school and things like that. So that's what's really fun about these books. And with that in mind, the 4 books that I'm going to talk about today are these 4 here, and they have a general theme of being at some type of school. We do have some other books that deal with moving to a new town. There's one over here about Shuri from Marvel, she's such a great character, so you get a little bit of her story. From the desk of Zoe Washington, we have is a young girl who writes letters to help free her convicted father. We have Maya and the Rising Dark. The League of Secret Heroes, Kate, book 1, so it's part of a series about superheroes. Unleashed is also a sequel to another book, and it has some fun characters in there. Then we have Theodore Boone Kid Lawyer, which this is written by John Grisham, so he's someone who writes a lot of books for adults, and he started writing this series for young adults, which is really fun because it's about a kid who is part of a family of lawyers. So, and then Anya and the Dragon over here. So as you can see, there are so many different types and so many choices for books, but I'm gonna again just focus on these 4. So I'll start with this one. This book here is called The Mystic School of Music Craft, and it's by Jessica Corey. And what's really great about this is it combines music and magic. So it's a little bit of a fantasy. It takes place at a boarding school, so you really get those emotions of having a roommate and your classes clashing with teachers and different things like that. So the main character's name is Amelia, and she desperately wants to go to this school and become a magical maestro, someone who can control magic by their music and really follow in her mom's footsteps, she's dreamed about going to this school all her life and has a disaster of an audition. She makes a mistake, things just don't go well, and she's just crushed that she can't go to the school. But they do give her a second chance, so she gets to go to the school, and she has some insecurities about really proving that she belongs there. And there's of course magical mayhem going on outside of the school that she gets involved in as well. So this is really just a great book about learning who you are and trusting yourself, and it has magic and music, which is really fun. Next, I have the book here is Middle School Field Trip Fiasco, and that's by James Patterson. So it might sound familiar if you've ever looked at any of the books over in the young adult section. That's because this is book number 13 in the middle school series. He has a couple other series that kind of spin off of this as well. But the main character in this series is called Rafe. And Rafe always gets into some really funny situations. So it's just kind of his good intentions, and then things just spiral out of control. So it's really what happens when he goes on a field trip with his class, and he thinks it's going to be great, and he's confident that nothing can go wrong. But of course, it wouldn't be one of the middle school books if there was not hijinks involved. And it also has some of the sketching and notes in the margins, which is always kind of fun. This book here is called The Good War, and that's by Todd Strasser. what's fun about this is it's based around having a video game club at school. So if you like video games, it's an after-school activity, which I thought was kind of neat. But the catch is the game that they're doing is called the Good War, the name of the book. So it's easy to remember that part. And it's based on World War II. So they're separated into teams of the Axis and the Allies, and they start going against each other in the video game with the intent that one side will win. But what they soon realize is that as they're playing the game, it kind of moves beyond the club and it kind of starts getting out of hand. They're taking their personalities, things that they hear and learn in the video game into real life, and it's affecting how they live their lives in the school. So I just thought that was really interesting just to see how this is something that video games are fun, but you want to make sure you don't take them too seriously. So I really like that idea, and it's a little bit of history in there too, which is always fun. And finally, I'm going to talk about this book called Iron Trial. What's good about this book is the authors, it's co-authored by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. So they actually write a lot of different books for a lot of different ages, from kids to young adults, and young adults, older young adults. So lots of different options here. So if you haven't read anything by either of these authors, this is a good introduction. And The Iron Trial is actually the first book in a series, and it concentrates on a character named Callum. Now, what's interesting about this is Callum does not want to go to the Magisterium. It's a special school where they train mages in like the elemental magic. And he's been brought up all his life to believe that magic is not great. It's not something he wants. His dad has said there's nothing good about magic. So he purposely tries to fail at the Iron Trial, which is the test to get into the school. But he fails miserably at failing, and he is offered an apprenticeship with two other students. We have Tamara and Aaron. So he starts his apprenticeship, and he really kind of gets to see how he develops as a person and has his own personality, and he gets to choose for himself what he thinks about magic, and is it really bad, and is the school really a bad place, or is it just hiding some secrets, and all sorts of things like that. So this is the first book of a series, like I said, and if you're really interested in either of these authors, if you've read them before or are looking for a new book, this is a great series to start. So again, we have so many different books available, and we have some audio books, whether on Playaway or on CD, or even available in our downloadable audiobooks from Overdrive. So if you use the Libby app, you can take a look there. But there's so many different authors that are out there. We have a lot in the collection. So if you're looking to try something new, give us a call at the library at 432-1132 and ask about some books that we can suggest, or you can ask about one of the books I highlighted here. Again, we're here to help, and you can always check out the library's website and catalog online.